good answer. Okay. So, how much would you say you trust yourself?
In terms of,
Just in terms of like, I don't know, trusting your ability, trust that what you say you do, all that kind of jazz.
um, I'm not going to lie to you. There's times where I have, like, it's 50-50. I always, like I said to you, like, there's always a strong goal or a strong plan, but the desire, I always have to, do you know what I mean? You know, where you have to constantly remind yourself to do. I don't do that reminding part. That's why I feel like I fall back sometimes in certain situations and certain things. So I think, yeah, that's my answer.
So you remind yourself for like the stuff to achieve, that's where you feel like you flop.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And so the things that you didn't remind yourself to achieve, like how important were they to you?
Like, a lot of things that I plan are important to me. So it's just, I think it's the hunger, the desire isn't. I don't know why it's not there. I don't know.
Are
I don't know if
you,
it's because I'm too
would you
young,
say, would you
Yeah.
say that you're the kind of person that in the beginning of your goal is boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
after a while it's like, oh,
Yes. Exactly.
okay, makes sense. Um, and yeah. So when it comes to like just goals and stuff like that, it's one of those ones where uh sorry, as I said that, it reminded me of a different graph in my head. I think it's like not a sine graph, it's like a sine to the power minus one, something like that. It goes like that. But basically it's the whole thing of like some of us, for example, like let's say Tixi, for example. um I know some people that like would join, let's say Tixon or something like that. They got so much energy. Let's go help young people. Let's go help people out. Blah blah blah. And I kind of know from seeing them that okay, I got this person is talking to me like they're gonna be here for 2 years. I've got them for like a month. And so, but the thing is, when we start with a lot of our goals, we start with a lot of energy, and we start with a lot of excitement and a lot of zeal. But then those are the moments where again we need to tell ourselves to chill because it's about consistency. So it's one of those ones I'm sure you've probably seen like what's it called? If you do 1% every day, you probably get further than somebody does 20% today, then 50% in 2 months time, etc. So whenever you have the energy, it's about like harnessing it and spreading it out to keep it calm. So for example, like if you want to read these books, if I was to tell you to set a goal on how to read these books, I wouldn't tell you to go and read 20 pages. I wouldn't tell you to go and read 50 pages. I wouldn't even tell you to go and read one chapter. I'll tell you to go and read one page. Just one page. That's all. Once you read one page, that's it. That's all you gotta do. That's you done. Now, in practice, what happens most times is that people, first of all, whenever I tell somebody to read one page, they're looking at me like, "What do you mean one page? I can do that. Like, just that's like it's just one page." And it's like, no, just read one page. And so what you find in practice, and I'll say it as opposed to you just for you if you go by it, you may see it or not. But what happens is that if your goal is only to read one page, then today you may read one page, you get through one page, and that's cool. But then after you read one page, you're sitting there like, rah, I can really read another page, And so the goal is always just to read one page. And if I read one page as the bare minimum, just in practice anyway, whenever I've told somebody to do one page, then that's when they end up reading like 3, 4, 5 pages. Because even some of them look at it and say like, "My dickhead, like only one page. Like this book is more days in the year." And then then some days you might reach 13, some days you might reach 12, some days you might only read one. But the goal is only to have one a day, one page a day. And in that way, the consistency by it is really what will make you finish the book, especially if you're not somebody who's used to it. Because you have to understand what you're trying to establish isn't the fact that you're going to read books.
Mhm.
Okay. What you're actually trying to establish is that you're the kind of
Mhm.
person that reads books. So what you're trying to establish is actually just the habit of reading books. You know, it's one of those ones where, like, if you go into the kitchen every day, at some point you gotta cook something, or you're gonna eat something. If you go to the gym every day, at some point you'd be like, you know what, let me carry this thing. Like, what's this? What's this? A dumbbell? Ah, this one's heavy. Give me the smaller one. Like, you carry something. So if your goal is literally to read one page every day, then what you're doing in the initial part is just establishing that you're the kind of person that actually reads books. You're not, your goal is not, don't worry, you know, all those books, it might take you 20 years to read all of them. That's cool. But the fact that you can, because what we do sometimes, so a lot of us, we give ourselves unnecessary stretch goals, you know. And when I say unnecessary stretch goals, it's like, you know, let's say you're Elon Musk and you're like, I want to put a man on the moon. It's not an unnecessary stretch goal. It's one that will give you multiple goals to keep on pushing you. But then somebody says, okay, I want to read a book a week. That's really unnecessary. Like, you're chill. Like, who do you think you are? Like, what time do you have, unless you're at home? Like, you know, unless you're at home, no friends. And even if you have no friends and you've got nothing, I've had a week of free time, and the stuff I want to do, I'm just like, my bed is kind of good, you know, like it's really comfortable over here. So really, you know, setting goals. So it's important that whenever you have energy, and especially in the beginning of your goals and your stuff, you need to analyze yourself to make them sustainable and to make them. So for example, for me personally,